Hey everybody, it is Ember with Recovery Nation Apparel, and I will be going live with Monica B. Monica, when you see this, let me know that you are in here, please. Okay, got you. Hello.
Hello. So, no lagging, hopefully not.
Now, I had to take one off of airplane mode because it said that the video quality wouldn't be good and I couldn't go live, so I took it off. So I may get interruptions, hopefully not. And
Okay.
then a cat sitting right here on the desk next to me.
No way. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and share this video.
Okay, I will too, actually.
Oh, no.
Maybe I'll do it after we're done because I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you want to get started on the topic and why you chose it?
Yeah, so boundaries. Boundaries is one of my favorite topics.
Why
Um,
is
yeah, so I think that boundaries is it's a huge topic to start for a family to start in their recovery. Um, I think that a lot of um, a lot of parents forget that not only do we need boundaries, but the person in recovery also needs to have boundaries as well.
a little bit of lagging?
Yeah, I've got somebody is group messaging me as well in my messenger. So I don't know if I can ignore that or not. I just kind of swiped it away. Sorry.
No.
So yeah, so here there. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, so I think boundaries is real important because it's a good foundation to start for a family's recovery and for the addict to start in their recovery.
Absolutely.
That's one of the reasons why I chose it and why I think that we really definitely uh, can adventure uh, here tonight.
And what do you do as far as what boundaries have you had to set to keep you safe?
Well, I had to start out small with my child, and I think that as a parent, boundaries are hard. They're hard to set because it's hard to um, whether or not you're helping or you're harming. So one of the first things that I had to set was with money. I had to set a boundary that I would no longer enable my son by giving him money. So that was one of the boundaries that I had to set. One of the first ones was that I would no longer give money to my child. So um, I always suggest to other parents that, um, say that you'll no longer give your child a dime and literally mean 10 cents to start, to start small because with boundaries, it's so important to mean what you say and say what you mean
Right.
because you have to stick with those. And when your loved one sees you sticking with what you're saying, then that's what's important, is meaning what you say and saying what you mean. And then you start building on those boundaries, and they start respecting you more because they know that they can't manipulate you any longer.
Right. Yeah. And that's like the good thing about, I mean, the kind of taking the tough love approach is that we need to be told no and kind of be forced to hit rock bottom sooner. And then, like, I know that that's what did it for me is like I wasn't being enabled any longer, and it was harder for me to continue down the path that I was going when it wasn't as easy as it used to be to get money. Like I went downhill faster, and hitting rock bottom um, came a lot quicker than it would have if I had people there, like continuing to give me money and allowing me to do what I was still doing. So, yeah, like making boundaries as a parent um, is very essential, especially if you want to stop enabling the addict.
I think something that's really important too is setting down with your loved one and making sure that they understand the boundaries, making sure that they, it's not, um, they're very clear,
Right.
like I said, when you say, okay, I'm not giving you money anymore, when you say, I'm not giving you 10 cents,
Right.
clarify. And, something that I learned with my son was, I had okay, I might be exaggerating, but I had a list of 5,000 boundaries. And when he was in the ministry and he come home for his first visit, and I was trying to learn how to trust again, and I asked him 5,000 questions, and that was my way of trying to build trust. And he said to me, Mom, you're making me uncomfortable, because it was obvious that I wasn't trusting him. And in that conversation, it occurred to me that he was uncomfortable because he was trying to work his program, and he felt that I was back there not trusting him. So I realized at that time that he also needed boundaries with me.
Right.
So, we had discussed that, what are your boundaries? And, at that time, I realized that he also deserved to have boundaries for me. And, I say, okay, so what are your boundaries? And one of them was I was allowed to have 5 questions. And, it's me being a joker, so I would say, okay, so I need to make those 5 questions good questions. But, and it was important that I respected that just as he respected mine. And I think, when we have our loved ones that are in recovery and we have them living in our home, we think because they're in our home, they're going to live by our rules and do what we want them to. But we have to remember that they're people, they have hearts, they have feelings, that we have to respect them too,
Right.
because, it's important for their recovery that they're feeling appreciated, and they're feeling like they're they're making progress in their recovery, that we respect their boundaries as well.
Yeah. And also, like, when we're setting boundaries, there has to be some sort of consequences too. Like, you
Yes.
can't have boundaries and have, we have to have consequences for everything. Like, I know, like, in my recovery, um, I have many boundaries because we have to protect ourselves and we have to protect our recovery, but also protect our family too. And so like they say, change people, places, and things. And one of the biggest things that I learned by setting boundaries was like basically a sense of myself and who I was. and my values, and that my feelings mattered. And all of this stuff was huge when it came to realizing like what I was worth and the type of people that I wanted to surround myself or have around me, you know. Um, that's a big part of like setting boundaries and why it's important, not just for people in recovery, but for people in general, is to know who you want in your circle and to choose who you want to have in your circle. And that's how we kind of like get rid of the poison and the toxic people in our lives. So my, I guess, consequence is, as far as like changing the people, is like when you're gone, you're gone. Like there's a reason you're not in my circle. Like I don't know. We always have to protect our recovery and put it first, and realize that people have feelings and respect that, but our feelings have to come first too. So um, I don't know where I was going with that, but I just think that consequences are definitely important, and the people that are around you are very important.
Yeah, I like to remind parents that, you have to make sure the consequences measure up to uh, the action. You know, Sometimes we get upset and, for the action or the boundary that was broke. And that's why when I say you sit down with your loved one and you write a list of boundaries, at that time, you should make the consequence a part of that list. You shouldn't make a consequence at the time of breaking a boundary, because when you're upset, you have a tendency to, over discipline. you
Right.
know
Yeah.
so when you're making your list of boundaries, that is when you should be making your consequences, whether it be with a relapse prevention plan. I know a lot of times that is a part of relapse prevention, is making boundaries and having consequences for those boundaries. So you shouldn't wait until a boundary is broke to make a consequence. You should be making consequences when you make your list of boundaries, and make sure that your loved one clearly understands what the consequence will be if it were to be, broke. That way, they understand why such is happening. There's no question asked. Um, you know, Boundaries are so important because they can help us regain trust back
Yes.
in, broken relationships, broken families. And like I said, it's a great foundation for our recovery and for the person in recovery to start with rebuilding families, with loved ones, jobs, wherever. So boundaries are a
Absolutely.
great foundation.
Yeah, I agree very much. Not only I have cats all around me right now.
Here
This
we
is,
go.
oh my gosh.
I'm
They're
actually
just
still have a different atmosphere today. So I'm in our pedicure room, very comfortable. So
lucky. I
yeah,
have, well, the white cat, he's really good. He doesn't need attention. He's sitting off camera over here, so he's not paying any attention really. He's being good. But the orange one is like, you'll see him, he'll jump up and be in the middle of everything because he needs so much attention. And too bad he's getting ready to. Too bad they don't understand boundaries.
yeah, obviously. Something else I wanted to mention about boundaries too is, we have to remember that boundaries are like lines in the sand. They're movable, they're adjustable, they're not permanent.
Right.
So, and they can move with our recovery. So that's another thing. Sometimes I think that as parents, or as loved ones, sometimes we're hesitant to set boundaries because uh, we're afraid that maybe our loved one can't meet them, or that they're too hard. That's why I always say start small, because you as a parent are more likely to keep them, and they're more doable. You don't want to set, later in my son's addiction, I actually had to remove him from my home. And had I not started with 10 cents, I wouldn't have been able to keep that boundary of him not being able to be in my home. But,
Right.
I worked my way up to that. And I was building strength by starting small and coming up, and it's not supporting bad behavior, basically. That was like one of my lines was, I don't support bad behavior, sorry. And,
Yeah.
that was my boundary. So, um, you know, it you have to start small and make it doable and then just build your strength from there.
Hi, Allison. We have some people saying hello.
Yeah, I see that. Does anybody have any questions on boundaries? It's like one of the toughest things in recovery, I think, for both parties. I see some new people watching. I don't know if they're still watching or not, but I see, some friends.
Some friends.
Yeah, I see some friends watching.
Uh,
I actually wrote down a quote earlier when I was looking around, and um, it says, healthy boundaries are not walls, they are gates and fences that allow you to enjoy the beauty of your own garden. I think that's important because, boundaries are only to protect yourself. They're not to create harm or to hurt your loved one. They're to give you what you deserve, and that's peace. Um,
exact.
and hopefully to help your loved one, to help them in their recovery or to help them find recovery.
Okay, since you're the queen on setting boundaries, do you want to answer my husband's question?
Let's see, can
Can
you
you
tell
see?
us a bit about boundaries regarding new friends and recovery and relationships? So, is he saying um, like intimacy relationships or just new friends in general? I'm
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 not
not.
sure what he's saying.
Yeah, like two people in recovery, or can you tell us about
I don't
that?
know. Basically, I'll just take it from my point of, or for
Yeah.
what I think he's saying, I guess, is if, okay, so in April, I will be coming up on 4 years clean. No matter what, I have to keep my recovery first. So of course, like we want to help other people and be around. Wait, he's still messaging.
Early recovery to find the right friends, hanging with the right crowd, cutting off old friends. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I forget what I was talking about now.
You said that.
Anyway, for me to become friends with people that need help, like let's say that they are very new to recovery and maybe not understanding it and not doing the things that they're supposed to do and possibly still using, I will give them advice and try to get them into the program and try to get them into recovery. And I'll talk to them through Messenger and stuff, maybe go to meetings and everything. But I always have my guard up because, like I said, my recovery has to come first. I can't let anyone come around that's using drugs in front of me or like has drugs in the car or on them, and I can't get in trouble for, like, if we got pulled over or something and drugs were found, you never know what could happen. But um basically I always have to protect myself and realize that my feelings are valid, and um there's a reason, like you always have to trust your gut instinct, and there's a reason for that, and that's where uh, I don't know if I answered his questions
Yeah,
or not.
yeah. Yeah, I think that what you're saying is basically you have to be selfish in your
Yes,
recovery.
right.
And
And
yes,
I mean, like, it sounds bad to say it. I always want other people
no,
to succeed, but I can't put myself in a situation that's dangerous. And it's
right,
hard to be around people that still don't understand that they have a problem. And I
right.
see that they do, and everybody else sees that they do. And so that's when I just have to kind of put my priorities first and kind of remove myself from the situation until they're ready. And then I'll be there to help them. But you have to want recovery before I get invested fully. I keep a distance, and that's to protect myself until I know that it's safe.
And that's what, as a mom, what worked for me and my child, and and I understand what worked for me doesn't work for everybody, but what worked for me is, my child was homeless, jobless, carless, wifeless, the whole nine. And, my boundary was, like I said, he wasn't allowed in my home, and I had to detach with love. And I would call him and I would ask him if he was hungry, and I would offer him to take him food or to take him through a drive-through. I would never give him money. It even was to the point where I wouldn't even buy him food because I know that, an addict is very resourceful, and I know that, I mean, they would sell the food, so I would present him to a drive-through or, take him food. But I would say to him, and I would text him. I was texting him scripture. I was texting him positive notes. But at the end of every single conversation, I would say to him, I love you. And when you're ready for help, I'm here.
Yep.
And that was my boundary. Um, and I basically left that door wide open. um, I couldn't take, the negative, it was all my fault and the negative conversations and stuff. And I just, for the sake of my recovery, I couldn't allow that to taint me anymore because as a parent, we do fault ourselves a lot. But I was at the point in my recovery where I knew that I couldn't take that anymore. So that was one of my boundaries. But I still left that door open for him. And when he was ready, he reached for me, and he got the help that he needed. He struggled, but he's still to this day, he does reach when he's struggling. So that door is still there. It's still open. We do have a good communication, good dialogue. I think that's important. For I think I don't know because I'm not an addict. Um, I think for you, like you said, you reach out on Messenger.
Right.
That's an open door, and that's a safe. There's a barrier there. That's a safe for you. So, I think you're doing the right
Like
thing.
I'm always there to help, and it's basically just like loving from a distance to keep myself
Yes,
safe. I have 3 children that I have to always be there for and take care of, so I can't let anything risk that. But I always leave that door open for anyone to, sorry, I got a message, to reach out to me, contact me, and I'll be there to guide you. But yeah, some situations require it to be from a distance.
yeah,
But we did have some questions coming in.
yes.
I'm not sure which one to start with. Casey said, I think relationship boundaries are crucial to the addict's recovery. Relationship boundaries. I'm not really good with relationship boundaries. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know much about relationship like not like marriage, you know? What would you say as far as like being married and boundaries? Because really,
Um,
like, our thing is communication and making sure that we have open communication at all times. And I am working on that, but I don't know if we have boundary issues.
Yeah, I think dialogue, communication, I think that's important. I think that if you are an addict and you are with someone who isn't in recovery, I think education, the other person having a support system, I think that's very important. I just think, um, being able to communicate with your other, your
Right.
person, I think that's important. Um,
And also, actually, I did just think of this, like keeping your recovery separate. Like he doesn't
yeah,
sponsor me and I don't sponsor him. I have a sponsor. When I have questions about stuff and like certain topics, he is better when it comes to communication, and so he is better at explaining certain topics than I am. Um, but yeah, like we love recovery and we support it and we celebrate recovery together, but we don't like get into each other's recovery. Like I said, we don't sponsor each other. Um, what I say to my sponsor and our relationships between us, and like everybody needs their own sponsor. I think it gets kind of unhealthy if you don't have a sponsor and you guys start to have that relationship. It could be dangerous, I guess.
you could
But
start
my sponsor is like,
co-signing,
what?
you start co-signing each other's crap.
Yeah.
I
We
mean, it's
just kind of, I complain to my sponsor and then we get over it and move on. But I complain to him too, so it's fine. But
yeah,
yeah, the main point is like just have your own recovery, but celebrate it together and love it equally.
yeah. I'm just
Are
looking at
you?
I'm looking at a few of my little notes here.
Yeah, I wrote some notes too. I don't have my glasses on, so this isn't great. But
Yes, so I wanted to mention too that something that I had wrote down that I wanted to mention is, when you are working on boundaries, like when you sit down, I keep referring back to this list, this note I'm documenting, making the boundaries list with the consequences. I think it's important for a parent or a loved one to take ownership with the boundaries by, saying, I think I said this when I was talking about my son with Kyle. Um, I'm not going to allow you to talk to me like that any longer because I have to put my recovery first. Instead of saying, you're being a little crap, you're being disrespectful, whatever, um, downgrading them,
right,
turning it into a negative situation, they're going to become very defensive.
yeah,
Um, you want to keep it as positive as possible and take ownership. Um, and, let them know why you're setting these boundaries because you are working your own recovery and you're doing
yeah,
this to protect yourself. I think that's important too. And, I think
absolutely,
for the addict, if they're in a good recovery, they should be doing the same thing, letting you know
yeah,
why they're setting the boundaries.
yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Allison had to let some friends go, and she said that she feels bad for it because when she was in active addiction, her friend wasn't, and now her friend is and in denial. I mean, yeah, like we've already said, you have to put your recovery first, no matter what. Um, that's all that you have. Like you have to protect it, and we're allowed to feel bad for making that decision, but you can't have like any. Uh, just don't let the guilt bother you too much because like this is something that we have to do and we're taught to do it in early sobriety is to get away from the people that can hurt our recovery. And boundaries will be tested, and you have to defend your boundaries at all times, no matter what. So like I understand like feeling bad about it because we have hearts, and I've learned more that like my heart gets bigger and bigger in recovery, and it is a sad situation, but just love them from a distance. Like I said before, like you can love them and support them and be there for them without risking your own recovery.
Right.
Oh, we're doing a great job. That's adorable.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, April 30th, I'll actually have 4 years, so I'm not there yet, but if I continue this route, then I will be. But every day is like an opportunity to learn and more about myself and more about recovery, and that's like, it's an amazing process. Was there anything else you wanted to say, Monica? Are you still looking at your
Well,
notes?
well, I was looking, I mean, I had noted that, we can have healthy and unhealthy boundaries, you know.
Yes.
Um, that's for sure. And, I wanted to I think I say this over and over again, but what works for me doesn't work for everybody. That's the glory of recovery, is that we have so many pathways, and we have so many um, ideas and ways to recovery. These are all just suggestions. Just we're sharing our experience, strength, and hope. If we can help one person, that's our goal.
We
Um,
try.
yeah, I mean that's all we want to do, is just to spread the hope. Unfortunately, our town is in a crisis right now, and if we can just help one person, that's all we want to do. And if there's one mom out there that I can help get get past feeling hopeless, or get them into the support that they need, I've accomplished my goal.
Yeah, because I was talking to Jeremy last night, and I'm like, we never really understood, and because we were so numb and selfish and everything, we never really understood what the parents went through, and not a lot of people still to this day, like, I don't know, like, it's new to hear that parents are in recovery, and I'm like, it's so I understand why they're in recovery. It's needed. Just for you to become sane and normal and able to cope again. Like you guys have to I'm watching my cat. Sorry, the ADD is kicking in. But you guys have to like learn how to do everything again and start over and rebuild yourself just like we do, you know? Um,
Exactly.
so I think it's amazing that you guys have the friends and family group and that you guys have support because you need support. And I've met so many parents that are actually lost and not educated and need recovery. And that's what it is it's recovery. So yeah, it's just awesome what you guys do, and I always am happy to let people know about you guys and get them in there because I support recovery 100% no matter who it's for. Like, if you can feel better, then why not do it?
That's right. That is right. Did you make
I
any
wish I
notes
could.
today, Amber?
What? What'd
Did
you
you
say?
make any notes today or no?
I did. I like did it professionally and I
Oh
copied and
my gosh.
pasted a whole bunch of stuff that I liked
Okay.
because
Oh, look at the hearts.
yay,
Because you did
I did
school?
good. What?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, that's the same person. Look, that's the same person giving you all those hearts. I thought it was like multiples. Now, come on now.
I
It was probably
did
your
good,
husband.
Monica. I did good.
It
I
was your
copied
husband.
I copied and pasted. Yeah, these are last week's notes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I did way better. But last week I talked about my notes more. Today I'm just kind of talking about whatever comes to mind.
Yeah.
But I
You know,
wrote
I
down
wanted
all what?
oh, I wanted to mention this too on the family side there. My aunt just gave me a few hearts, so no. Um,
You did
I
good
wanted to
too.
mention this on the family side too, before I forget, because sometimes my brain goes, see, I think I have ADD too, but maybe not. But um, it's important when you're doing boundaries to make sure that you include the entire family. I think that's only fair, husband, wife, and if you are living among siblings, to sit down and to discuss, what everybody feels is appropriate for boundaries, simply because you have to remember what the addict has taken away from the family. I know a lot of times siblings feel very left out, and I think that they need to feel like they're being a part of the recovery as well. Um,
Right.
you know, and sometimes there's a lot of resentment. We talked about that last week, about resentment, but maybe that sibling, whether they're older, younger, whatever, maybe they have a take on a boundary that you need to consider. Um, and that may help start to repair that relationship as well. So I wanted
Yeah.
to mention that before I forgot. So
Good job. No, that's a good point. Um, yeah, I bet that happens a lot, actually. Um,
absolutely.
does anybody else have any more questions before we go? I'm going to double check and make sure that I got them. Yeah, I think we got them all. So, um, I don't know what else to say. Do you have anything else to say?
I don't. I think that I covered everything that I wanted to cover.
You did
Um,
good.
I think that it was a much needed topic, and it's a definitely boundaries are a work in progress all the time. And like I said, they're marks in the sand, and you can always move them. So, nothing is permanent, never. So just keep that in mind.
That's good advice. You did good. No wonder you're the queen of boundaries.
Yeah,
You
well,
gave yourself that title, by the way.
I know I did, and I'll tell you what, my child would probably agree. No, Aunt
Yeah.
Casey, we're trying to do this weekly. My aunt just asked how often we share our thoughts to Justin and stories. We try to do it weekly, and if you go back on Recovery Nation Apparel, you'll find there's two other videos. Um, Ember, have you already shared the other two videos on your YouTube?
Yeah, they are on there. Jer actually did that for us. He'll upload this one too. But yeah, I think it's just Recovery Nation on YouTube. I don't know anything about it, but you can watch them on there for sure. I think that's all it is, Recovery Nation. It may be Recovery Nation Apparel, but that's all you have to type in into YouTube to see the videos.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in, and
Thank
we'll
you
figure out what
guys.
what is next.
Yeah, I
And
have to think I've got a topic that I love. I love the resentments topic because, like, that's mostly my issue. Seriously, like, boundaries, I'm good with boundaries and not hurting people while I set the boundaries and putting myself first. But yeah, I'm getting better at resentment. So I have to come up with something else. Maybe something that's on my character defects. We'll come up with another good topic that I can talk
yeah,
more about. When I like
yeah,
have issues to work on, I speak more. So
yeah. I just saw
Yeah.
Joni pop in. Joni, you'll have to rewatch it when we're done. And
How are you seeing all this stuff? I'm not seeing anything.
well, evidently you must be lagging, and I'm not, because I'm seeing it, and
I'm
yeah.
not seeing
So
this any of this stuff.
you might you might want to get new internet. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm good. Oh, okay, there, I see it now. Maybe I am lagging. We'll just blame it on the
Jody,
cat.
Jody, what did you say I will about? I don't know. Jody said I will, and I don't know what she's saying I will unless she's gonna go back and check out the other videos.
I
Maybe that's
see
what she's saying.
Aaron's comment. Hi, Aaron.
And then Jody commented right after her, have you seen it yet?
Yep, and
Oh,
I
I
have
will watch it.
to
Yep.
watch it.
Yep. So if you go back to Recovery Nation Apparel, there's two other. One of them is on resentment, and the other one is just kind of Amber and I. Amber, no, that's not your name. Ember
No.
and I, the first time we talked, we just kind of chatted around. We were trying this out, and we kind of told our little bit about ourselves and stuff. So that was the first time that we did this, and we got um, kind of some good reviews and people asking us to do it again. So we decided to
Yeah.
have the Ember and Monica show.
And the reason that I like it is because people can hear every topic from the addict's point of view, the person in recovery from addiction, but also hear it from the family side. So, like, we kind of hit like everything right here, all, I don't know. I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. I need to go to bed, I think.
It's both sides, and not very often do you get both sides of the story in one place because you guys go to the rooms and we have our support group, and it's not very often do you get the story in one place. I think
Exactly.
somebody is somebody knocking on the door.
Is it my cat?
No, it's not your cat. I think it might be Mrs. Tina's cat. Maybe.
uh,
I think I just saw her do something on here, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, there she goes. Yep, she just made a funny face. I think it might
that's
be
so
her cat, but
funny.
anyway.
Like a real
Yeah.
cat? Are you serious?
No, not at all.
Oh. I'm
No,
like, man, I want an office cat so bad. No, I
absolutely
don't.
not.
I wouldn't get any
We
work
really
done.
don't want we really don't want State Board showing up here tomorrow. We do not have a cat. I'm kidding.
They do. She said it. I believed her. It's true. It's
No,
real.
no. His daughter is a stylist here. I was saying her cat, her little one, her kitten, her daughter, meaning that's what I was meaning. Sorry. So,
Oh my
Ember,
gosh. What?
yes. So, no. All
Okay.
right. So, um, everybody go back and watch the last two videos, and we'll let you know. We're kind of bouncing around maybe on days just because
We have
Ember's
a
got.
lot going on.
Yeah, we do. We've got quite a bit. We've got some community things going on, and Ember's got some sales going on. So we're kind of bouncing around on days, but we'll make sure that we post the day of whenever we're going to come live. We're going to try to stay
Yeah.
around the 7 o'clock time frame. So,
Yes,
because Ember
absolutely.
goes to bed at 8. So we're going to try to
Yes.
stay around the 7 o'clock time frame, but we're going to let you know the day of. So.
Yeah, or even like the day before. I'll always make a post and make sure that it's like on every page that I go on. But also, I completely forgot what I was gonna say.
If you guys have any ideas for topics, just go ahead and inbox us, let us know, and we'll see what we can come up with. If there's things that maybe you would like to hear discussed, if there's something really heavy on your heart that maybe you want to hear our viewpoint on it. Not that we're always right, but hey.
We
we can
try.
definitely talk about it.
Absolutely. I agree.
Oh.
Well, one of us did good here, so good job.
Okay, so I think I'm
Uh,
gonna go home now.
okay, I'm gonna go upstairs and get ready for bed.
All right. Well, thanks guys
All
for
right.
watching.
Yes, thank you everybody. Thanks for the support.
Yes.
I'll post it, share it, and then if you guys like any of our stuff, share it, and we'll come up with more. We love you
Yep.
guys. We're here to help. If you need help, message us. We are talking about boundaries, but I will definitely communicate with you and get you where you need to be. So just reach out. That's all we can say. Basically, like I try to get anyone to reach out that needs help. Do not be afraid. Send us a message.
Yep. Yep.
All
If you
right.
use this, make sure you share it.
Yep, sounds good.
Yep.
Thanks, Monica.
Thanks, Ember.
I'll talk to you
See ya.
later. Bye.
Bye.